taking it back to the beginning where this started. Oh, I'm taking it back to the beginning when we first met. Everybody's losing their minds. Everybody's losing their goddamn minds. Everybody's smiling just to show up their why. There's emptiness in their reflections, and it's killing me. Yeah, it's killing me. It's always been my way to appreciate everything and to live for the sake of living. But lately I just end up in this place alone each night with the sorrow for the fear that maybe we don't change that much over time. Maybe we don't change that much over time. Maybe we don't change that much over time. I want so badly to believe that this world exists in my head, but the place I dream of is so far from where I live. I dream in color, but all the people I know are all so gray. I dream in color, but all the people I just can't figure it out.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all those who do not feel represented by an oppressive gender binary, hello and welcome. How are you doing? Uh, I'm Eternal September. You're whoever you say you are, for better or for worse. And we're going to play some more Kentucky Route Zero today. We're going to finish it up, actually. Um, which gives me just a little bit of melancholy, because as you can't I am aware that this game will always be here. I could just start it up again and play it again if I wanted, but seeing the how do I want to phrase this idea? Seeing something through to its end is always just a little bit. It's always just a little bit. And this will be too. But it's okay. Uh, what do I need to do before we start? Content warnings, right? Content warnings. For the video game, Kentucky Route Zero. Um, Natural disaster. I have some more specific content warnings as I remember how this bit of it goes, or at least some of the major portions of it. Uh, Natural disaster is a thing. Uh, there was a massive rainstorm in the last episode, or rather in the intermission between Acts 4 and 5, and we'll be catching the end of that. Uh, there is the death of an animal. It is treated um, with gravity and respect, but it is still there. And various and sundry distressing topics as people sort of wrap up their uh, internal journeys as they reach number 5 Dogwood Drive. I think those are the ones that are useful for me to give for the video game. Content warnings for myself. I sometimes make weird sex jokes or speak frankly about my trauma. Probably not going to do either of those tonight. Probably. If I'm wrong, I'll try and warn you before I do that. If that's not something you feel comfortable being around, that's okay. You don't have to be here. And I think that's it. Let's just jump into it. Let's jump in the line. Ooh, rock your body now. Jump in the line. Just double clicking the thing that makes Kentucky Route Zero go. The scan lines are much more pronounced on stream than they are on the actual laptop screen that I have. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised by that because of the way that compression algorithms are. I went back to here and there along the echo to go try something else in my off time. But we're going to go back to the circle instead. And nope. Go up here to Act 5, where we will hit play. Act 5, Scene 1. Oh, right. In a town. Or a town. That Atlanta? A town? I'm going to pause the game for just a second to catch you all up a little bit. I'm not going to try and do the whole encapsulation. Conway isn't with the group anymore. The folks from the Hard Times Distillery finally decided to call that debt due, and he's now presumably working for them full time until the end of time, because that's what debt does to people. Um, but everyone else has decided to continue the delivery in his stead. Everyone else being Shannon and Shannon and Ezra and Johnny and Junebug and did we pick up Clara on the way? The theremin player? I think that's the case. They reached the end of their journey along the Echo River and were headed up to where Dogwood Drive is, which was at the bottom of a well. They had to leave their uh, car behind and climb a massive staircase to get to where they're going now. And then in the intermission, we saw the inside of WEVP TV, a incredibly local radio station, local television station rather, doing an incredibly local performance of a talk show and a like tape discussion show, which was interrupted by a flood, a subsequent power outage, and Weaver, Shannon's cousin, who apparently takes over their broadcast sometimes just because. I think that's as much as I can usefully do. Let's get into it. Uh, where there has been a flood in a town. A man walks to the shore of the newly formed lake/river where a horse lies. Uh, Shannon, Ezra, and yeah, I guess that is Clara, are standing around the circular pit that they climbed up to get here. Give me just a minute. That's everything, right? That's everything, right? Clara. How did all this fit in that truck? It's bigger on the inside. Clara, the sun is shining. Shannon, I think it rained. I think it rained. Clara, so we hear. Shannon, rained a lot, I mean. Clara, so we hear. Ezra, the worms are going to be out for sure. May I use your phone, Miss Shannon? The worms are going to be out for sure. Have you ever heard a worm sing? They only sing if they trust you, without reservation. The worm song is completely unique. I don't want to haul this stuff any further until we know exactly where we're going. This is interesting. This is the only time where we've gotten to choose every single line of dialogue and who says it. Well, not and who says it, but people interacting where we're not asked to simply control one person's side of the dialogue. I'll go scout ahead. Okay, holler if you find anything. But fuck all of that because there was a cat standing next to Clara, and apparently we are moving the cat around. Oh, that's interesting. So I mentioned this, I think, once before. I mentioned this on the first stream. But when we click on a place in the sort of point and click style to move our character around, it's usually a pin gets set in the ground and then a horseshoe spins around it, like someone playing horseshoes. Uh, but now that we are controlling the cat, we are guiding them by means of a glowing, looks like a dragonfly. Junebug and Johnny are standing over here, staring down the pit. Junebug and Johnny strain to hear the noises coming from the well. There's that weird sleepy singing again. It's two songs overlapping, but it's the same singers in each group. Johnny shades his eyes with his hand. How are your eyes, Cricket? I just need to swap lenses and they'll be fine. You? I'm okay for now. Uh, I have no idea what the hell this button does. It's a spiral. Ah, it is to make the sound a cat make into the well. Let's see what else there is around. Let's go see that man about the horse. Ron, the one of the folks who was working at WEB, the TV station. That's a damn shame. That's what you call it. Speaking more or less to himself. This is Clara and Clara, the musician, and Maya, who was the guest on the talk show. And now you'll return to Chicago? Oh, no, I'm heading to Ohio next. They have a few great burial mounds I want to revisit. This is kind of a research trip for me. I'm an artist. I make stuff like this. With what materials? For the really big ones, I build a frame out of wood and then basically bury it. Why did they build this huge, dirt spiral? Most of these ancient earthworks are thought to be burial mounds, but this one definitely isn't. To be honest, I don't know what it was for. Ezra's over here speaking to, an older person in a half shell of a hangar. I don't know what the hell type of air vehicle this is. It looks, it's got the sort of triangular harness at the bottom that that I kind of associate with hang gliders that you hang on by your arms on a hang glider. Not that I've ever gone hang gliding, but I've seen them on television. This looks like the thing I've seen on television, except it doesn't. That part looks like the thing I've seen on television, and then the top of it is a plane with like a prop. Ezra's asking, will it fly? That's the question. Uh, the cat hides in some garbage bins and observes the scene in front of them. At first, they only observed the truck from a distance. It was an alien carcass, something that made more sense in death than in life. The company had dropped it off in the middle of the day when everyone was at the plant. They let it sit overnight, alone and strange. We clicked the word truck in that paragraph to move on to the next thing. Now the words Nikki, Ron, and Elmo are lit up. Nikki thought it was ridiculous, but Ron approved. To Elmo, the truck was simply beautiful. To Elmo, the truck was simply beautiful. He thought it was elegant. He liked the idea of passing it every day, observing it from different angles and distances. Observing. And elegant was the other thing we could have chosen, but he didn't care if they used it or not anyway. There weren't any roads in town, unless you maybe counted the old airstrip. Everyone had to agree that this was money and attention that would have been better spent addressing the town's drainage problems. Maybe finally get started on that damn messianic ditch. Still, they had a few things to dispose of. Broken flower pots, empty glass bottles, clothes that didn't fit anymore. They gradually fell into the habit of collecting waste and carrying it to the truck. Once a month, some shadows would come in from the night woods and haul the garbage away on a cart. There were some people up here on the hill. I haven't really described the town at all. There's the big pit in the middle and the newly formed lake. Um, oh, and the newly formed lake at the center. We can't really go over there. And then around that central point, there are several houses up on a slanted hill with a path going upwards. I didn't realize or had forgotten that you can click on the dialogue in order to, the dialogue that's presented more as captions to advance it. Ezra was talking to, apparently their name is Clyde, about the hang glider plane, asking, will it still fly? Clyde responding, yeah, it should, with a little work. I'll have her up and running again by this afternoon, I'm sure. Can I fly it? Well, how's your upper body strength? It's good, really good. This old girl's operated by pulleys. I mean, it's 100% mechanical, except for the throttle. I could do that. I admire your confidence, young man. Yep, just a little bent metal. I'll have her skyworthy again in a matter of hours. Wow, I've been doing this a long time, kiddo. That probably means I can go look at Ron lamenting the death of that horse. And so I want to go do that. Nope, Ron's moved along. There's a sort of diner looking thing over to one side over here that says waffles for any weather on the sign outside, which I like a lot. This is Ron in front of another. We didn't get to see the horse dialogue. This is Ron in front of another animal carcass. This shouldn't have happened. We should have prepared better. All of us. Most of all, that damn company who built this place and left it only half built when they pulled out of town. Damn shame. Uh, as the cat moves around the central pit, all the rest of the characters sort of, I don't know how I want to phrase this, like phase in and out as though chunks of time are passing. Here's Ezra sitting with, is this Flora, I think? They must have been pretty nice pigs if you let them ride, if they let you ride them like that. They were perfect gentlemen. And then what happened? Then I found the library of television. There were TVs everywhere as soon as you walked in the door. Every channel was playing at once. I had one eyeball pointed at a cooking show and the other at a crime show. If I stayed any longer, I would have split into 1,000 people. Sounds scary, but also kind of cool. Exactly. I'll take you there sometime if you want. Did I tell you I discovered the place where all the garbage goes? You mean the dump? Oh, no, it's much more exciting than that. There's a big fire at the center of the earth. It's been burning basically forever. The fire is maintained by ancient dinosaurs. They burned themselves so many times there's nothing left but oily bones. I hung out with an old dog and some musicians. Or that was Ezra. I hung out with an old dog and some musicians. Well, then we both had quite an adventure. We should stick together, or maybe I'll see you at this museum sometime. We should stick together. Flora, I agree completely, or it's a nice idea, but you should stay with your friends. I think they still need your help. It's a nice idea, but you should stay with your friends. I think they still need your help. Greeting, meow. Rita. Oh, Rita was the host of the talk show. Oh, hi, kitty. Where did you come from, huh? Did you follow a bird up here? These folks, the ones who built this thing, they chase birds too. Intrigued, meow. Really? That's what they wrote. They followed some migrating birds up here from Central America, somewhere up to Florida, and then here. Skeptical, meow. Well, that's what they wrote, anyway. I guess it might have been a metaphor. We can go up and observe the burial mound. Jorge scanned the book on the shelf. He quickly found the book he was looking for. There were only a few dozen left, more shelves than books now, the result of an experiment called the New Selection. Privately, he called it the Purge. Um, A Crystal Age, Anonymous, a fairly recent publication. Jorge flipped through the pages for a minute. The binding was stiff. He hadn't read the book, but had discussed it with Isabel for the community. The community architect. It was the story of a man who sleeps for thousands of years and awakens into a world without hunger or strife. Isabel had requested the book, part of a collection she was building called Ecological Mysticism, and now it was to be the latest victim of Fraser's reckless experiments. Fraser proposed and executed experiments just like any other community member, but his experiments had a scorched earth quality. They were all destructive. He moved from one area of community life to the next in search of excess to cut back. Lately, he'd turned his scythe to the library. The new selection meant decimating their store of books according to Fraser's own inscrutable criteria. Now we are guaranteed something vital every time we take a book from the shelves. No more time lost to printed chaff. Fraser's colorless voice echoed in Jorge's mind. He felt like spitting. Instead, he took the book under his arm and set off to the woods. I want to go back up the hill and because I went up and then forgot about it. Oh, there you are. We'll get back to it, but oh, Slow-Mo Crow is over here. Warm coo. Greeting meow. Eager chittering. Affirmative meow. An agreeable caw. Friendly meow. A short coo. Negative meow. Chittering dismissively. Inquisitive meow. Confused coo. Doubtful meow. Soft chitters. Curious meow. Inquisitive caw. Confident meow. Curt chitters. This is what's left of the station. You can tell partly because Mo is on it, and partially because you can still see the remnants of the set back there. Elmo gave Rita a tour of the cameras and wiring. She'd just been through a certificate program on public broadcasting at the community college, so no surprises there. Nikki showed her the video databank, James demonstrated the Sandin image processor, and then Ron came barreling in with an urgent expression. Rita had entered the public broadcasting program at Fish Trap Lake Community and Technical College with a vague desire to be a newscaster. One of her instructors got her excited about pirate television, and she followed threads through TV and activist communities until she found herself here, somehow, volunteering at WEVP TV. Ron's news was clearly bad news. Rita's heart sank a little as they listened. She knew things were unraveling, knew from experience what that looked like. But as she listened to Ron detail the power company's sudden withdrawal from the town affairs, she heard other possibilities. She studied their faces and found concern, for sure, but also something like relief, hope, an awakening of play. Nikki looked like she might have been daydreaming. These were people, Rita decided, ready to step out of the company's shadow and build something of their own. Ron said the TV station would still be funded by court order. Could that be their anchor? I simply must describe this thing to you. I do not have a choice. It is... no, we'll come back to it later because we talk about it in more detail. Some of the other characters do. I'll do it then. Six or seven men stood in the sun about a dozen yards from the ditch, and he could hear them laughing. He tried not to hear them. Instead, he listened to the shovel punching through the dirt as he shaped the trench. It was wet dirt, mud, really. It made a hungry sound as he shaped the trench walls. The glare from the noon sun made his sinuses tingle. The trench was a foot wide now. By the time he was done, he expected it to be twice that and run most of the way from the middle of the town over to where it could drain off into the creek. The laughter quieted into greedy chuckles, and he could feel the men approaching. All right, now we're going to go up on the hill. Wanda, a person we have not met before, but who is sleeping on a bench on the porch of her home, presumably her home. Wanda snores softly. Cheerful meow. Wanda sleeps peacefully. Let us not bother her more than necessary. This is Bob and Ben who are fucking around with the ghost radio, and I cannot remember her name. Is it Nikki, our point of view character from the interstitial? Think it'll rain anymore? No. Emily. I don't see any clouds. Hell, it'll probably rain anyhow. Just our luck. Assertive meow. Oh, really? Confident meow. He thinks it's going to rain again tomorrow. No. I don't know, man. Animals have a sense for the weather. Here's Ron again. He is no longer standing over the bodies of animals and is doing something mysterious with a very long lever. Let's continue around and see who's moved. Oop, hang on. There was a thing to meow at. Alert meow. A family of small mice huddle beneath the debris. Predatory meow. The mice retreat into shadows. Marianne, who I don't think we've seen before. So not too sad. Nikki. No, I think it should be happy. Right. It's a remembrance. Right. Like a monument. Totally. So they should be represented with dignity and respect, of course. Of course. But not to the point where it makes everyone feel they have to be serious when they're standing under it. Does that make sense? No, yeah, it definitely does. I think I have an idea. Great. I'll just dig in. Thanks, Marianne. I'm happy to help. Oh no, wait, was Marianne the receptionist from the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces? I think yes. Clara is over here looking at graves, but there's another thing to look at before we talk to her. The seer reclined high in a tree, carving fine details into a small wooden pipe. She loved this spot, the height, the distance. She was always at a distance, watching everyone work. From this height, she could see the earth movers shaping the mounds under the draftsman's supervision. She could see him inspecting his plan, the drawing he'd made from her game, the map. Whose is this here? All I can read is better days. They put their better days to rest here? I wonder whose better days we're talking about anyway. Oop. Here's Ezra speaking with... Who is that? Nikki, apparently. Nikki to herself. They were beautiful animals. No, I should say... They were beautiful souls. And they're free. I should say that they are free. Only, what do I mean by free and the options available to us? Unburdened, empowered, or question mark? Unburdened? Nikki to Ezra. Oh, hello. Sorry. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm writing something, a sort of poem. Who's it for? It's for the neighbors. Can I get back there to that church? I can, but I don't think there's anything over there. There we go. Shannon, Ezra, Junebug, Johnny, and Clara are standing in a... It's not really a building. It's the shape a child might draw if you asked a child to draw a house. It's just a square with a triangle on top that is see-through all the way through. It's more like a platform or a stage with steps leading up to it. Well, the mailbox says 5 Dogwood Drive. Is there any mail in there? Like if someone wrote them a letter, maybe their name's on it. Emily, walking up. It just showed up, the house. Where'd it come from? Emily shrugs. It feels warmer in here somehow, right? Warmer and brighter. Nobody lives here? Well, somebody ordered some furniture. It's actually quite spacious. Yeah, you can fly a plane in here. What this town needs is a kitchen. There's so much room, though. We could set up a whole studio. A music studio? Cool. Oh yeah, lots of room. Plus, everything we recorded would have bird sounds on it. That's kind of a cool signature, right? I could set up a new workshop here. I could fix TVs again. Or whatever people need. Hell, I could fix toasters. One could really fit a lot of books in here. I feel kind of like I'm on stage right now, actually. Know what I mean, man? It's weird acoustics. Like, you get little echoes before the sounds themselves. I like it. We need to make sure and preserve some of this stuff for the next big storm. So whoever lives here next will know who came before. We could put on a play for all the animals. I'd like to see that. We saved what we could. The screen went completely black with the words, "We saved what we could" across it. Some things have appeared in the frame of 5 Dogwood Drive. Ezra is saying, "Hey cat, I'll race you. From here to that pile of mail, okay?" Affirmative, meow. Come stand here, this is the starting line. Ready? Get set, go! I think he beat us, but just barely. The floodwater is still around, but it's starting to recede. Clyde lay on his back on the runway, hands folded behind his head, halfway between dreams and the afternoon sun. He entertained the momentary delusion that he'd survived a plane crash and was vaguely unhappy when the dream faded. The runway smelled like oil, years of leaky light aircraft taking off and landing. All the state said they wanted was to knock down some trees, many trees, and build a road tying this small town to the larger web of streets and highways that entombed the rest of the country. But Clyde and his inner circle of stunt pilots turned mail carriers knew that a road would be the end of their secluded paradise. Here's Ezra and Flora. Choppy seas today, Captain. Hey, Captain, let's reinforce the sails. I like that they're co-captains. She watched him. She stood in her own shadow. A few deer hunters and talkers walked past, but said nothing to the seer, didn't even look. She studied the path. This was the path the seer had found in her scrying game, a series of private dice rolls and inscrutable diagrams. The community trusted this game. It had led them to fish-filled streams, intimate knowledge of the elements and stars, even here to the Cenote settlement. They trusted it without understanding it. And now the game had revealed to the seer this vital route, which would lead them safely before the next floods came. At the end of the route, she'd seen a safe, quiet place. Caverns of leathery black birds, a lake of eyeless fish, a towering flame. Now the diver walked the mounds, memorizing the route. He was almost ready. Let us meow at Shannon. Greeting meow. No, get back over there. Do your meows. Oh, hi kitty. Chatty meow. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. I guess the weather was pretty bad last night though. Confident meow. You're a chatty one, aren't you? Fanciful meow. Sure, whatever you say. Curt meow. Alright, well, take it easy. This is Johnny and I think Mary Ann in front of the church. Yeah, I'd be worried about that too. Nikki is her name. Apologies, I had those backwards. Well, and it isn't just the rodents. The floors are mostly rotted, I think. You'd fall right through. I'm surprised they're still standing after last night. What, all the buildings? No, most of them have good bones. It's just these ones the power company built are rotten. Oh, okay. Yeah, the power company moved in here a while back and set it up like their own little town for the workers. Yeah, they didn't build them too good, huh? Yeah, it's garbage. They couldn't be bothered. I lived in that one over there, in fact, when I first came here to work at the power plant. Yeah? Yeah, I wouldn't set foot in there now, though. This is Junebug and Ezra picking through a pile of mail. Some of these are really old. Maybe we should open them. Scolding, meow. Haha, he says not to open other people's mail, kid. I know what he said, but if they're not even here to open it themselves, you know what? I won't tell a soul. Emily standing in the rubble of the television station. What's this? Curious meow. Oh, man, it's totally broken. Inquisitive meow. Waterlogged tapes. They might still play, who knows. But all these VCRs are shot. Sad meow. I don't even know where to put all this. I hate to call it trash. I wonder if that garbage truck still works. Junebug and Clyde the pilot chilling out in the hangar.
Ain't like it used to be around here, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, never is.
Sure, everything changes, especially here. Runway's got some cracks in it for one.
That a runway? I thought it was a road.
That was one thing Cass always insisted on about this place. No roads leading in or out. Hell, we can always fly.
Ezra and either Bill or Bob uh, standing in front of the massive open box. Does it work? Bob, apparently. I don't know. I think you wind it here. No, it doesn't work. I could probably fix it. Oh, you definitely could fix it, man. And then you'd have a new robot friend. And then I'd have a new robot friend. Marianne clears her throat. Standing in front of Wanda, who is still sleeping on her porch. Inquisitive meow. Well, hello. Marianne nudges Wanda gently. Wanda, time to wake up. Curious, meow. No, dead to the world. Probing, meow. I'll just try again later, I guess. A bunch of the TV folks and Shannon hanging out at a park picnic table. It's really cool. Where did you get it? Oh, it was just in my pocket, my jacket pocket. Is it special? It's exactly the one we need to play this game. 20 sides. You play board games? I'm more into screens, I guess. This was actually someone else's jacket. I'm sure he doesn't need it anymore. It's cool that it glows in the dark. Now I just need a dark place to play. Hi, Andy. Love to have a robot friend. Highly recommend. Sorry, stretching. As a uh, as a robot friend myself, I'm glad to feel appreciated. My friend's uncle said we could use his basement. Oh, perfect. I'll hold on to this. Don't lose it. I will guard it with my life. I've just realized, in a way that I hadn't playing through this last time, that Emily, Bill, and Bob are the three people we see at the very, very beginning of the game playing a tabletop game in the basement of Equus Oils. They're also the people that we see through a lot of the interstitials, walking through Lula's installations and fucking around with the phone in here and there. Oh, Ezra is standing on the ground speaking to Mo, the crow, who is up on a telephone wire. So how did y'all get food out here? Gentle cooing. How they manage that? An indignant caw. Haha, why? A detailed series of chitters. Yeah, okay. You stick around to help? One confident caw. Oh, you're right. I'll think about it. Clara and Ron. Ron has apparently dragged both of the horse corpses, which I'm not going to portmanteau, even though it would kind of be funny because it's a serious situation. No, miss, they don't scare me at all. If you'd met them, you'd feel the same way, I'm sure. I don't believe old Jorge would ever hurt us. He's a kind and a bit of a bookworm as far as I can tell. Sometimes Rita finds a book from the old library and we leave it out for him. I think he likes that. Oh, and you? I guess you must keep pretty busy. Uh, Clara responding, for me it's back on the road, a performance in Nashville. I should go home to Lithuania. Her uncle is uh, fatally bedridden. I don't mean that way. But you get it, I think. Or I'm beginning to think I might stay here. Is that ridiculous? I'm beginning to think I might stay here. Is that ridiculous? I'm glad to know someone will be around after we're gone. I greatly appreciate the writers describing the animal sound so well. Absolutely. They they are people in the broadest sense of the term, and that means that their noises aren't just noises, that they have intentionality. Ezra and Junebug are back peeling open the boxes of letters. How about Greg Rabbit? Greg the Rabbit? No, like Rabbit is his last name? Well, there's no Greg or Rabbit here. Not anymore, at least. Great! Ezra opens the envelope. It is our privilege. It is our privilege to inform you that your Apple application has been accepted. Your studies can begin as soon as you arrive. Good job. Yeah, good job, Greg. Hope he got the message eventually. I wonder what he studied. Artichokes. What? Oh, no, architecture. Here's another. So the ones that I've been reading out, I haven't really described it very well. Um, the ones I've been reading out that are their own encapsulated stories are what happens when the cat approaches some shadows of people. Presumably they are things that happened in the past in this area. Rita tore up the weeds. Elmo stood next to her with a bucket. She passed him the uprooted weeds, and he stuffed them in the bucket. They worked this way for a few hours. Dark clouds drifted slowly closer, but wouldn't arrive until evening. Rita and Elmo left to go get some tea. The bucket of weeds sat warming in the sun. The dandelions wilted, and the clover dried. Some wayward insects continued to eat. When Rita and Elmo returned, they assumed the same roles and continued working. The garden was coming along as well as they could hope, given months of neglect. When the plant shut down, the company abruptly pulled out of the area and took a large part of the town's population with it. This included the Carver family, who tended this garden, the largest and most productive in town, for years. Now the garden would be cared for by a new family, and feed what was left of the town and whatever it became next. They didn't know much about gardening, but they were prepared to learn on the job. They knew for sure they would plant tomatoes. Those had grown well from this garden in the past. Rita and Elmo worked until it started to rain. The rain washed their sweat into the dirt. I hope that you're having a good day, Andy. I myself am doing the thing that I knew what I was going to do, which is to say going through a gamut of fucking emotions here at the end of all things. Uh, Nikki apparently is speaking to herself until it finally just gave way. But you did good work. Not your fault. They didn't let you finish, that's all. If they'd let you finish, forget about it. This place would be dry as a bone. You always did good work. Inquisitive meow. It's a memorial. Let's get a little closer to the well and see if there's anything around here. Doesn't look like it. I saw some people back at the picnic table near the ruins, but here's Ron sitting with the neighbors. Heavier than they look. Sure, everyone's heavier after they've passed. It's only natural. Because spirit has no weight. In fact, it lifts us up a little. Greeting, meow. Oh, it's you again. Friendly, meow. Yeah, well, feel free to pitch in. I'm sure this would go a lot quicker with two of us in it. Argumentative, meow. Busy, huh? What, you left the sunbeam unslept in? Parting, meow. Now suit yourself. I'll be right here. I haven't described this either. Marianne has been painting something up against the side of this shed whenever we have not been seeing her, and it is clearly taking shape, the shape now of two horses on a green field. This game remains so much in the best way. Yes, this game is a whole awful lot. This is, I think, Rita and Ezra. Do you know how long you have to be asleep before you can start dreaming? Sometimes I think I'm dreaming even when I'm awake. Entirely possible. Even if you never go to sleep, you'll start dreaming on your feet. The people who built this library were always experimenting. They took nothing for granted, even sleep. They were a scientific community. Everything is an experiment. Whenever I make a decision, I never know what's going to happen next. Is that an experiment? Or, nope, sorry, that's supposed to be Ezra. Whenever I make a decision, I never know what's going to happen next. That an experiment? Sure. Experimenting is abandoning expectation. You'd fit right in here. Sure, it's a mess right now, but there's some residual energy from those fearless experimenters that I don't think will ever dissipate. Johnny and Junebug, complete with their robot noises, have walked up to us. I could stay here. Junebug and Johnny walk up. What's good, little dude? We were talking about the library. Rita to Ezra. Is this your family? Are you in the band friends of yours? Is this your family? Ezra looks at Johnny, or Johnny looks at Junebug, or Junebug looks at Ezra. Ezra looks at Johnny. What do you say, kid? Yeah, that's right. This is my family now. Ron dug a grave. Uh, another card which predicates them Massive time shift. Rita is now sitting alone at the picnic table in front of the ruins. Hey, this book's in pretty good shape. The City of Ladies. Interesting. Curious meow. No, I've never read it either. Inquisitive meow. Good question. Let's take a look. Here we go. Minerva, Circe, Sappho, and some ladies from the Bible. Nosy meow. I think they all get together and build a city. It sounds nice. I'll get us a bus ticket, hey? Johnny, and I think this is Clyde the pilot, standing outside Waffles for any weather, which is what I presume this diner is called. That's on the sign. No, this is Elmo, who was the weather person for the television station.
And ever since then, I've just been treating it like a little cafe for the town.
Oh yeah, you like to cook?
Yeah, sure. I'd make you some waffles that'd blow your mind, you know, if the power was back on. If you want, and you promise to keep it secret, I'll pass on my waffle recipe before I head out.
That's okay. I don't really eat.
Nah, I guess you don't. Well, I know I'm not sticking around. You think you'd do anything with this place?
I'll think of something. What are the acoustics like? And there are some shadows sitting at the table. Nosy Meow describes like 80% of the sounds Jasmine makes. I don't know that much about your cats, but I'm glad that Jasmine is inquisitive about the world around her. "3A, lay paper flat. 3B, bring bottom corner up to top right corner. 3C, crease with firm, steady pressure along diagonal fold." Nikki applied only gentle pressure. Looser flowers felt more alive. She rolled her wrists. It was the 6th hour of her assigned company store shift, and she'd made dozens of flowers. Ron had bought a bouquet and cleaned out their stock that afternoon. 11. Repeat steps 4A through 7 for each petal, taking care not to rip the filaments from step 9. The company store used to have a dedicated staff until the civic responsibility plan a few years back. Now everyone took 1 or 2 shifts a week on a mandatory volunteer basis. A commotion outside caught Nikki's attention. Men yelling, blows landing. She put down her work and stepped out just in time to see the crowd disperse. Curious meow. Something brown scurries up the side of the tree. Surprised meow. A squirrel? Too fast to tell. Clyde and Cass sat cross-legged in the shade of a light aircraft, Cass shuffling cards and Clyde absently flipping through a stack of unopened letters. Demand for aerial stunts having faded almost completely, and many of their company having died or aged out of the profession, Clyde and Cass found for their remaining pilots a steady flow of contract work, delivering mail to remote rural areas. But this place was abandoned. Cass's cards predicted they'd be here for quite a while. that someone back over there in those trees, or is that the trunk of the tree? That's the trunk of the tree. More stuff has been added into the frame of Dogwood number 5. Table and some chairs. There's also a rug and some heavy boxes that remain unopened. Oh, hey. The little light aircraft started. We'll come to that in a second. Here's Junebug and Emily in front of the station. Yeah, I'll miss them for sure. Beautiful creatures and so thoughtful. Yeah, I bet. Where do you think you'll go? Oh, I don't know. For now, I'm just poking around the rubble. Emily pulls a videotape out of the rubble. Emily pulls a piece of slate adorned with a partial circuit diagram out of the rubble. Emily pulls a broken projector out of the rubble. Videotape. Home movies? Probably some weird art video, statistically speaking. Emily pulls a piece of slate adorned with a partial circuit diagram out of the rubble. Hey, I've got one of those. It's, some kind of image filter, a voltage regulator, or a source of uncertainty. I like a source of uncertainty. Very little I can salvage here. It wouldn't mean anything anyway. It's kind of a package deal. You need the tapes, and the station, and the people. If one part's missing, the whole thing falls apart. Oh, it's not a, I thought it was like a thing where you hold on to it like a hang glider, but it's not. The part that I thought was a hang gliding station is in fact a seat. You can sit inside that. It's technically and legally an aircraft, presumably. Ezra, where are you flying to?
Flying. I'm just checking to see if everything's working okay.
You could fly her somewhere if you wanted to, though, right?
Oh, of course.
So why don't you?
Here we go. Keep your distance now.
Well, let's watch him take off. Feels rude not to. Let's also not stand in the middle of the runway, cat. It doesn't look like it's taking off, but it has gone a good, couple 100 feet. Wanda isn't sleeping on her porch anymore. Johnny and Junebug watching Shannon and Ezra. We'll go with play in the graveyard. Oh, damn, there he goes. Can we go in after them? What, in the bushes? Yeah. After the raccoon. Yeah. No. But it's probably full of thorns. Yeah, but raccoon. It's not happening. Okay, okay. Oh, don't pout. I'll tell you what, if that raccoon comes back into town, we'll leave some food out for him. Yes, ma'am. Hey. Hey, don't run in the graveyard. Why not? It's... People are trying to rest. Annoyed meow. Yeah, I agree. It's an aircraft in all the ways that matter least. I mean, it goes. It probably could get skyward. I imagine that Clyde, being a trained pilot, wants to test all the things that aren't that before, you know, putting it many, many feet into the air. I approached the barn over here to look at the horse painting, which is very nice, and where Ron is digging a grave for the neighbors.
Yeah, 6 feet, that's the standard. The standard for people anyway, but 6 feet's the rule for a person. Let's say the average person's 5'9". Now what I can't figure is, for purposes of burial, do you measure from the front legs or from the back? Well, at least I'm putting the math in. If this were still company property, they'd be off to a landfill. Cold sons of bitches. Those greedy sons of bitches finished that drainage ditch when they were supposed to. I should put some of that bile into digging these holes.
Can I yell at the pit? No, but Junebud's talking about knives. I really like this knife. It has an aura, you know what I mean? An aura. Yeah, like it wasn't exactly used to cut apples. It's meant for greater things. Yes, ma'am. Wanda, who is finally awake, into tape recorder. Part 5, addendum, notes on soil. Good crumb. Reminds me of... that community vegetable garden we converted into a scrapyard. Shannon has approached her. Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces, right? I can spot y'all easy now. Huh. I'm making a survey of the site for potential reclamation. Initial results are promising. I think this may be the moment we finally reclaim this ghost town. Or, Shannon. Alright, well, don't set up shop just yet, huh? Think we're taking that one? Here are Ezra and Ron. Well, Ron is down at the bottom of the grave. Ezra is standing at the top. Hand me that rag, would you? The one with the embroidered bird on it. This one? Does it have a bird on it? I think so.
Don't you know what a bird looks like?
Yeah, but it's pretty small. I thought it was some letters. I guess that could be a bird on there.
It's a rag, ain't it? As long as it's a rag, I guess it'll work for mop and sweat.
Oh yeah, it's a rag for sure. Oop.
There is Ron ringing a bell. I presume that, yes, everyone is walking over to the grave site. Emily,
Hey Al, thanks for sticking around for this. I know we've all got places to go. Well, if anyone still needs somewhere to go, be sure and speak up, okay? I think Ron's heading through the woods tonight, back to the road, if you want a caravan.
you staying up?
Yeah, sure, I'll stay. I think we can build something here again. This place has good bones. For right now, though, we've got some friends to bury. The neighbors. Nikki has a poem. I have a song. If anyone wants to say anything, though, I'll go first. The neighbors were kind, gentle, beautiful horses. I used to go on walks with the silver one out in the woods by... Why didn't anybody ever give them names? The silver one. Well, I guess he was gray, but his coat looked silver in the light. So I always called him that in my head. And the other one is the other one. And I love these horses. But you never know it if you heard me talk about them like that. So I'm sorry, silver one and other one. I'm sorry I don't have better names for you. You deserve better names. Also sorry I'm so bad at this. Anybody else have anything to say? Ron has something to say. Elmo is thinking about carrots. Rita has opinions on names. I want to go with Rita, I think. We didn't give them names because their names weren't ours to give. The horses were here before us, you know? They came with the people from Central America. You know, the utopians, the people of nothing. The people of nothing arrived by horseback in October, and their first experiment was to free the horses. That was generations ago, of people and horses. I don't know when we started calling them the neighbors. We should have called them the people, I think. They were the only consistent residents of this place for over 100 years, and now they're all gone. Who are the people now?
I got something to say. I just want to say that these horses used to crap on my floors, but it never bothered me too much. I never mentioned it to anyone. I didn't want to make a thing out of it. But if we're clearing the air, well, that happened, and it's okay. I mean, recently, too. I was cleaning up horse crap just a couple of days ago, but I'm saying it was okay. It would have been okay if any of you wanted to crap on my floors. I just want to say that. I would have cleaned up after any of you if you crapped on my floor. Thanks, Ron. You deserve better names. Just punched me in the chest. Massive same. Ron letting people crap on his floor slightly less, but still powerful in its way. Okay, I guess we'd better move on. Nikki, are you ready? Thanks for sticking around. Like Emily said, it's so good to have you all here for this. I think the neighbors would have liked this, all of us gathered here. They like to be around people. Maya, you, and our other visitors might not know about the out-of-towner. He came to work for the company to dig a ditch, and the company worked him good and hard and for less than he was worth, but it wasn't enough. They had to use him up completely. And then after that, we became ungovernable, first out of shame, then grief, then anger. I wanted to write this poem because the neighbors led me through that time. I used to sit with them out in the woods. There's a clearing out there. It's about 20 minutes walk directly away from everything. I mean, there's no reason to walk that direction unless you're going to this clearing. The neighbors like to graze there. There's a certain grass they like the best. It only grows in partial shade, deep in the woods. I'd go out to that clearing and just watch them, in my shame, grief, and anger. And they knew, any of you who spent some time with these horses will remember, they knew just what I was feeling. I could tell. It radiated off them like sweat evaporating, creatures of pure compassion and forgiveness, the kind of forgiveness Frost meant when he wrote something we somehow haven't to deserve. When I go, I want to be buried out there in that clearing and feed that grass they love. Look for me under your boot soles, as the fella says. Nikki clears her throat and begins reading from the paper she's holding. We all leave town and call that town a ghost. What ghost gave this town breath and made it home? And now that breath is gone, we buried it here. What's left is not a ghost, it's just the bones. Nikki closes her eyes for a moment before continuing. Our neighbors were the best of us, of course. It's always so. Our better selves clear of ourselves, where we can see their glory glow. They glow now underground, our friends with love. Our neighbors left us here, though not alone. So let me try instead to share your woe. Here where we lay our town and friends to rest, some other cherished fools will build their home. Then we buried the horses.
I've heard of a land of joy and peace and wonderful life, a beautiful place of mansions fair and skies so bright, where all who believe the Savior dear forever shall stay. And having been saved by grace divine, I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way. Well, glorious news I tell and sing as onward I go. For those who are still astray in sin, my Savior may know. I want them to sing that praise above some beautiful day. For glory to Him who died for me, I'm going that way. I know I shall meet Him at the gate when trials are past. I know I shall meet Him face to face in glory at last. Oh, I believe that when we meet, well done, He'll say, while trusting that soul redeeming love, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way.
Everyone sort of knows about the grave for a moment and then starts walking off in their separate directions. Their shadows clearly very long in the setting sun. I wanted to see very quickly if there's anything else around the area to interact with before we go up to Dogwood number 5, but that does not appear to be the case, so they have turned it into a little workspace. There are Bob is playing guitar. There's cables running all over the place, leading to stuff for Shannon to work on, presumably. Ezra is at one of the tables, just sort of idly kicking his legs. The sun finally sets, and this will be our credit roll. Uh, we can start again from the beginning. And check out a couple of more choices, but not gonna. I love this fucking game. Um, I'm left with a little bit of a choice for myself. Do I want to take a break and come back and do a different thing for a little while, or just cut the stream here? And I think the answer is that I'm going to cut the stream here. I, I I appreciate the affectionate bracket, but yeah, it is uh, a lot. There, I am not shy about the fact that I pick up a lot of influences from media. I think that everyone does if they're honest with themselves. We're all influenced by everything we intake all the time. Um, I tend to think very strongly and deeply about things like this. And I bolted quite a bit of what this game handed me uh, to my soul. It's just in there now. I am very glad to have revisited it. I am exactly as wrecked as I thought I was going to be. So, that's good in that way. Exactly, yes. Love to feel emotions at full volume. So, yeah, that's going to be the stream for the evening. Uh, I should do the call to action, I suppose. If I can get my brain aligned enough to actually get onto the to get onto the bit where those words are stored. Uh, before I leave, then let's talk for a moment about the fact that Black Lives Matter, that Indigenous lives and lands matter, the lives of people of color matter, that Palestinian, Ukrainian, Congolese, and Sudanese lives matter. There are a lot of ways to stand in solidarity with your fellow travelers upon this earth, and we like to push for direct mutual aid as it helps people who are suffering right now suffer less, because people who are suffering less can stand next to us just that little bit taller. So have a look around, and maybe if you have the energy, explore some mutual aid initiatives that exist in places where you operate, both online and in meet space, because the only way we get out of this is through. The only way we get through this is together. This is going to be it for me streaming for just a little while. Um, the next stream is going to be Tuesday, and Remy will be back. And they want to play Witch Stranding? Strandings, I think, multiple. Um, which is only like, which will probably just be 1 or 2 streams. And then they want to do, they have a plan for their next couple of streams. And that'll be that. Uh, so if you know us from outside of the streams, I'll still be around. But if all you're seeing is the stream, then it sounds familiar. It's a game by Strange Scaffold, which is headed by Zalabiel Nelson Jr., whose name I believe I'm pronouncing correctly, but I could be wrong. Uh, who also made An Airport for Aliens, currently run by dogs, and El Paso Elsewhere, and I Am Your Beast, which we just finished the main campaign of I Am Your Beast, and that game fucking slammed. But Witch Strandings is one that went under the radar a little bit, and we think it's really interesting, and they wanted to sort of uh, give it a showcase. So, gonna do that. So, I'm not sure when I'm going to stream next. So, until I see you again, I love you. Uh, keep yourself safe. Find something to do and do it. And I'll see you later.